So let me start this session. I'm Eva Bańkowska, Deputy Director of Microfinance Centre, and with me there are two distinguished speakers, Stefan Buciuc, CEO of BCR Social Finance from Romania, and Laura David, Head of Business Development. Good morning to both of you. Good morning before lunch, and thank you once again for joining us. So we are talking today about something really extremely interesting. BCR social finance products. One product for financing social economy actors or social enterprises and NGOs, and the other one a loan for students. So we are going to look deeper into both products. Let me start by saying that this, and Laura and Stefan, correct me if I'm wrong, but BCR started in 2008, and you started with rural enterprises and agriculture. And in the coming years, in the following years, you diversified, and you, as far as I understand, 40% of your portfolio is now in business, and 60% or close to 60% in agriculture. And your BCR is covering the whole Romania with over 100 employees, focusing on most poor regions. So welcome to the session, and I'm looking forward to hearing about your experience. To everyone who has joined our session, feel free to ask questions in the chat, or also you can request the access to the mic and video, so you can ask questions live. So let's start. Stefan and Laura, my first questions, let's start with your product for NGOs and social enterprises. You've launched the product in mid of 2020. So can you say a few more words? What type of product it is? What is actually your offer? To whom and what?
Yes, I will start. Thank you for the introduction, Eva, and thank you for having us today in this session. We started in 2008. BCR Social Finance actually is the special program of BCR Group and Erste Group and Erste Foundation to support education and entrepreneurs. Gradually, we introduced different other products. We started from actually vulnerable communities, financing them, and then as an NGO in the beginning, and then we turned ourselves into NBFI. And initially we started with the agro producers. We had like a portfolio of close to 90% agro producers in rural areas in Romania, and gradually we extended our portfolio to also businesses. Now we have a mixed portfolio, 55% of agro producers and 45% of businesses. And we also launched like 2 years ago the NGO and social enterprises product. It is a huge need for us to support the social infrastructure, NGOs and social enterprises in Romania. As we know, also in Eastern Europe, there are huge needs in terms of civil society. So this is why we launched this product, and we designed the product in a way that we can help the NGOs with financing, but also with financial education. And I think this is, and business education. I think this is very important because the needs, the NGOs have different, revenue sources. They have basically incomes from grants or from EU funds, or they have like their own business activity. So in terms of how we help with financing, we offer the full array of banking products that the NGOs need, from working capital to investments to co-op pre-financing, EU grants, and also other types of banking products, including the special account for NGOs that is with zero costs.
Okay, so let me just imagine what is the purpose of your product. So you mentioned the matching of the EU funding. That's one thing. But what when you say working capital or investments, what type of investments or what are the needs for working capital of NGOs and social enterprises?
Mhm, mhm. Well, think of an NGO as a normal enterprise. I mean, if we think of NGOs only as a charity users, then it's not the most sustainable way to think of an NGO or social enterprise. Basically, you need to have clear financials and to understand how your business and your work is going forward. Saying that you need a business model, a sustainable business model. Why they need this type of financing? Investments, for example, they need to buy a location, right? Or they need to buy equipment. I mean, if you talk about social infrastructure, you can talk about elderly houses. So you need to buy the location before investing in whatever is needed in the business. You need to buy machines, you need to buy cars, you need to buy everything that is needed in
Mm-hmm.
order that your NGO or social enterprises fulfills its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Okay.
for investments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, in terms of working capital, of course, you have some big categories of costs each year. One is PEREX, the human capital costs. You have some gaps between the moments you basically cash the donations or you receive the revenues for your business activity, and this is covered normally in each business by working capital line, which is short term. Investment should be long term, and you should not use short term to finance long term and long term to finance short term. I mean, this is a basic rule. If we talk about EU funds, it's a gap between the moment you sign the contract, you do the investments, and the moment you basically receive the grants. So this
Mm-hmm.
is how we finance the bridge loans.
Okay, you said that we shouldn't treat actually you are looking for NGOs or social enterprises that have business models that we shouldn't look at them as charity but as business models. But then how my question is how do they actually repay those loans, right? So they are non for profit usually. So how do they actually generate income to repay the loans?
Yeah. So normally you get different revenue streams. You get donations from corporates. You get donations from private individuals, or you just apply for state programs, especially for social infrastructure, and you basically the state authorities are outsourcing to different NGOs different activities, especially in child care or elderly care or on this part of social infrastructure. Each NGO has a revenue stream, and they need to do the fundraising. It's not only about money; it's also about resources. I always say that it's mostly about resources, not about money. But they have different revenue streams. Some of them, as social enterprises, they have like a valid business model. They basically, just to give you an example, we have one very big NGO here that is recycling electronic equipment, and they use vulnerable people in their work. So basically, they have revenues. And they have like a cash flow. So this is how they repay basically the loans. In terms of grants, EU grants, the bridge loans, basically we cover the gap between the moment signing the contract and receiving the grants. So basically they have revenues from these grants and so on and so forth. So basically, in the end, they need to have a clear revenue. Either is from grants, either is from CSR, either is from economic activity, and we look in their activity how sustainable their business model is in present and how sustainable their business model is going to be in the future. And basically, we do a future cash flow projection on their future revenues, and this is how we based our risk decision in crediting and lending money to these type of organizations.
Okay, so it seems like that's pretty much like the regular microfinance activities.
Yeah, yeah, but with a twist,
So
because
what is
you
the
really need to
twist?
understand.
So what is
Uh,
the twist?
yeah, yeah. The twist is to really understand the ecosystem because you need
Mm-hmm.
to really check how the organization is established. You need to see if those people have experience in what they're trying to develop and the basically NGO or social enterprise work that they're doing. You need to start from the people and their experience. This is the first one. Secondly, you need to see it. It's not like you do banking from the office. It's not possible to do banking in the office for NGOs or social enterprises. Third, you finance also organizations that have their main revenue streams from donations. So you need to understand and discuss with their sponsors if they're going to support that business model in the future. And this is not easy. Fourth, you need to have a strong heart because when you go in elderly houses or childcare or this type of healthcare or this type of social enterprises or NGOs, you need to be strong because the first input is okay. Let's turn again to charity and give donations, but this is not sustainable. This is not long term.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to filter all this information and really look on how sustainable the model is and how you can help them actually because we do lots of mentoring and business education how you can help the model to become more sustainable and to bring more governance and structure in the model so they
Mm-hmm.
can scale up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this leads me to another question because you said earlier that you are doing this financial education or financial business education for your NGO clients. That you so how can you say just a few more words how you actually do it and how
Mhm.
or yeah what is the sort of scope of it and how intensive?
I will just give you an example that I love. It's something that happened with a very big NGO. They had like a co-working space in a city in Romania, and they wanted to expand so that they have more space for creative industries in that city. Also hosting NGOs and social enterprises, and also hosting craftsmen. So basically, very small startups doing social innovation businesses. From small candles to whatever, recycling clothes. And they came to me and said, "Look, we found this great location, and we want to buy it." And I was asking, "Okay, fine. What is the price?" And they said like 500,000 euros. And I said, "Okay, let me just come there and see the location, and let's talk a bit." And these guys, they were well established in the local community. They had other commercial activities that can support this acquisition. So it was like more a spin-off of their current business. And we saw the location, which was an old factory. We walked from the location to city center to see, I mean, on foot to see how long, what distance is. How connected are they with public transportation and their target market basically. And I told them, look, we can give you this loan right now. I think your financials can support it, can stand it, but I think it's not the right way to go forward for you. I think you're gonna go over indebted in this, and for sure you're gonna get overruns in terms of additional costs when you're gonna refurbish the building. I think the best way to go forward is to find some partners and leverage a bit your acquisition. Uh, 6, 7 months after this, um, I received the call. The founder of the NGO told me, "Look, Stefan, I want to offer you a coffee." I said, "Fine, let's have this coffee." And he told me, "Thank you for not granting me the loan because I found partners, I leveraged my investment, and now I can really build in a sustainable way this business model that I'm trying to do." And now they're one of the most beautiful locations and most desirable location for NGOs and craft business in that city. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the way we see our role here. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about granting the biggest amount and
Mm-hmm.
faster. It's
So.
about
Mm-hmm.
helping with
Mm-hmm.
the real need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So from this story, what I'm hearing so far from you, it seems really that microfinance can the whole experience of microfinance with financing businesses, micro enterprises, that this can really contribute. We can build on this experience to serve this new market of social enterprises and NGOs. Last question on this, and also I would like to encourage people watching us to ask questions in the chat if you have any. But my last question on this is like so up to date you have launched you have issued 40 loans up to about 2 million euro of portfolio. So how do you manage the profitability of this product, right? So what's how profitable it is and how do you see it?
Um, Now we talk about the twist. Um, it is defined in our statute that we don't distribute dividends. Everything that we get as a profit, we reinvest in the company, and this is with the great help of the Erste Foundation and Erste Group and BCR Group. That we today we can do this. So in a way, although it seems like something from outer planet, we are kind of a banking NGO, right? A big one. So regarding the portfolio, it was a long journey in training our people to understand how an NGO can be assessed in terms of underwriting, risk assessment, financials, and everything else. Because things are close to a social business, but they're not so close. I mean, there are many differences in the way you assess an NGO compared with the normal business. And regarding pricing, even in these very wild times, funding increased 3 times since last year in the same period, and we don't see a stop in this. Right, we're trying to keep a break-even cost for us in financing NGOs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Let me now very quickly jump to the second product. I regret we have little time, but let's jump to the second product, which is also very mission driven. That is the student loan. So again, like. Can you? I know that you have just launched it. It's very fresh product, started in September this year. But can you say like how it works, who can get it, and why you are doing this?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Laura, would you like to? I mean, I talk too much.
Thank you for allowing me to speak about Eva said, the newest product. You know, the smallest child is sometimes the most loved ones for some time. At least this is what they say. It's not true, but yes, we launched recently the student loan, which we like very much, and we are very happy with how it came out. It has very nice features, we think, that the students would appreciate. Actually, we based all our product on the results of the surveys that we conducted with the students at the prestigious universities in Romania, asking them what they would like to have as a product. So the product allows for financing for students and learners. We have a limit of what is it, almost 35,000 euros as a loan for a period of 10 up to 10 years. The nice thing about the product is that allows you for the period of your studies to pay only the interest and for the loan and have a grace period, so that you have the time to study, to focus on the study, and allows you also for a 6 months time to find a job that would allow for the repayment of the loan. So Also, what is nice is that you can, as a student or as a learner, following certain training or qualification courses, you can get the loan in installments, in tranches, meaning that you withdraw as much as you need for a certain period of time, and this is not bulking all the interest at all the time. So you get as much as you need for the duration of the studies when you need it.
Mhm.
And we can cover the tuition fees. We can cover rent. We can cover equipment, material, study materials, books, what usually student needs, laptops, and also living expenses, because it is not easy to be a student, and you don't only study, but you also need to have some expenses that you can cover.
Mhm.
Um,
As
yeah.
Laura, as I understand, this loan, in your case, this loan is with you do not expect any collateral from your from people borrowing, right? So how this product is constructed?
We do not have any collateral. We do not have. We do not ask for co-signers. We do not ask for an income at the moment of the disbursement of the loan. The loan is supported by European Investment Fund through the Student Education Guarantee. So it's 80% guaranteed by the EIF guarantee, and 20% stays, the risk stays with us. We only ask for a personal guarantee, but we do not have any consigners, own any real collateral or anything else that would, make it more difficult.
Okay, Laura, thank you so much. We have a first question actually from the audience, and let me just read it. Do you also look? I guess it goes back to the previous product, the loan for NGOs and social enterprises. Do you also look at for-profit organizations which have a social impact, or you only focus on social impact enterprise which are sustainable? So in other words, the mission-driven for-profit organizations, I guess, if that's your target as well. If you
Yeah,
have,
yeah, definitely. I mean, coming back to the charity discussion, we're not looking, at donation-based organization only. We're looking, I think, we should change it from, not for profit sustainable organization to for decent profit sustainable organizations, because I think this is a structure that can bring a development in this area. It's not, when you talk about NGOs, sometimes you get founders that are very attached to their idea and they keep it, very low. The way that we need to develop and scale this civil society part, it's also built on an economic fundamental. So we need to help this organization grow and get traction and scale up if we want that the social economy reaches 20% of overall employment and not only 8% that we have today. And we saw in the crisis times that the social organizations are more resilient than normal businesses, because people truly believe in that, and they put their money before they even use needs in these organizations. But to have and do that, you need to build it on a very good base, including all this financial background and all this financial knowledge that initially seems like something blunt and not likely, and something that it's for accountants. It's not for accountants. It is for us if you want to build a sustainable business.
Okay, that's very interesting about the sustainability in the crisis. We have one more question, and let me just say that we will be closing in 1 minute. But there is a question: do you use only loan products, or also equity products, or hybrid convertible loans to finance social initiatives?
Yeah, we also have a quasi-equity product, so we're trying to implement it right now. The issue we have with this is that the level of knowledge in terms and complexity of such deals seems like too high for small NGOs and social enterprises. We need to grow the level of knowledge in this sector so that we can implement more complex products.
Okay, sounds good. Listen, I'm really a fan of your experience, and I would really like to go more in detail, but I guess we need to postpone it to another event. With this, thank you so much for sharing with us very briefly your experience, and I hope that's a good inspiration for everyone who was with us, because serving social enterprises is possible, and then also helping students to get jobs, to get well-paid jobs is also possible, and there is a really new markets for MFIs beyond the typical traditional audience. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Stefan, so much.
Thank you for
And
having us.
we keep in touch, and all of you attending, I invite to following sessions that are already in the schedule. Thank you so much.